Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Chelmsford. We are a covenantal community gathered for worship, mutual care, and in service to the common good. I'd like to extend a special welcome to anyone who might be visiting us for the first time. We're so glad you joined us from wherever you are, and you can learn more or contact us via our website, uuchelmsford.org, or email dre@uuchelmsford.org. I'm Reverend Ellen Spiro, and I'm leading the service today with Steve Zaki, our music director, and Brenda Rogers as our worship tech person. Dave Caffeine is our online chat host today. Due to the increasing COVID numbers, as you all probably know, we've moved worship attendance back to online only, and this will be for the whole month of January. The COVID task force will assess a return to multi-platform worship for February. Meanwhile, I invite you to make yourself comfortable and enjoy the full return to pajama church. We do have our online chat. If you are attending via our YouTube channel, just be aware that neither I nor Steve have access to that chat. So you'll be communicating with each other, but you can't communicate with us, unfortunately. And finally, we will have our social hour online after the service. Today's host is Edith Murphy, and we provide the Zoom link for that at the end of the service. So, as we enter 2022, I invite us to center for worship, listening to Steve play. You're very good. Thank you. That was so haunting and beautiful. I'd sent out this chalice lighting with the order of service. So if you have it and would like to join me from home, I invite you. It's a chalice lighting for the new year, number 172 in Lifting Our Voices by Edward Cyril. Always there's a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. Forever the old passes away and newness emerges from the richness that was. Nothing is ever lost in the many changes time brings. What was in some way will be, though changed in form. Always there is a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. I light our chalice for 2022 with knowing that it will bring us joys and sorrows, struggles, gifts, and grace. And now I'd like to invite us to join in our covenant. We, the members of First Parish, covenant together to sustain and strengthen our beloved community by honoring and celebrating the spirit of life, nurturing all souls in our search for truth and the sacred, caring and being present to one another in our joys and sorrows, bearing witness through service to justice and peace, and being good stewards of our congregation, our heritage, our Unitarian Universalist principles, and our earth. Nosotros, las miembros de la primera parroquia de Chelmsford, convenimos juntos a sostener y fortalecer nuestra amada comunidad and honorando y celebrando el espíritu de la vida, nutriendo toda almas en búsqueda de la verdad y la sagrado. Cuidar y estar presentes al uno y otro en nuestros alegres y tristosos. Dar testimonio mediante servicio a la justicia y paz, y ser buenos cuidadores de nuestra congregación, nuestra herencia, nosotros principios unitarios universalistas y nuestro mundo. With apologies for those of you who speak that language much better than I do. I'd like to invite us to pause now in gratitude for this congregation, for this lovely planet that we live on and need to take better care of, and for our faith, which holds us and helps us walk in times of joy and sorrow. Thank you. The new light is here. Yay. So every time I learn something, and I learned that one should not try to I shouldn't fake my way through trying to read something in another language without my reading glasses, because I can make my way through it if it's English, but Spanish not so much. So I apologize for having butchered our covenant in Spanish so badly. I'd like to begin with an ancient reading and a modern reading. The ancient reading is from the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tse, as translated by Stephen Mitchell. This is chapter 2. When people see some things as beautiful, other things become ugly. When people see some things as good, other things become bad. Being and non-being create each other. Difficult and easy support each other. Long and short define each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. Therefore, the master acts without doing anything and teaches without saying anything. Things arise and she lets them come. Things disappear and she lets them go. She has but doesn't possess. Acts but doesn't expect. When her work is done, she forgets it. That is why it lasts forever. For our modern reading, this has been attributed to both Robert Ludlum and Michael McGriffey, and maybe it came from somebody else. But here it is. Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. When the pandemic started in March of 2020, I talked about how we were in a liminal season, a time when the old ways of doing things had ended, but the new ways hadn't yet emerged, a time of living betwixt and between, a time of discernment, as we learn to let go of what no longer serves and nurturing what wants to emerge. As we enter the new year of 2022, I cannot help but feel like this liminal season has turned into a liminal era. That each time we seem to have gotten a handle on things, gotten to that place where we see the new ways, we find ourselves negotiating another variant with an accompanying surge in cases. This can be daunting, anxiety-provoking, and exhausting. It's especially hard this time of year when it's cold and it's dark, and we plan to spend more time in each other's company to get us through. Almost 2 years in, it can feel like we're back where we started. Like many of us, I had to scrap my holiday plans to go see family and friends and make the decision to return us to remote worship. It is hard not to be discouraged. The Wednesday before Christmas, I had an online lunch with 2 of my Chelmsford clergy colleagues, Reverend Erica Kennedy, the pastor at Trinity Lutheran, and Lisa Bridget Cass, pastor at Aldersgate United Methodist. They are wise and funny and kind women leaders of faith, and I have benefited from their collegial support and friendship more than once over this pandemic. At this particular gathering, we discussed how to handle Christmas Eve services in the face of exponentially rising numbers of COVID cases. Lisa said that she had a poster on her office since early in her ministry that had the quote I shared, "Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape." And that had become the catchphrase for her and her congregation to help them through this pandemic. Erica and I both saw the wisdom of this and agreed we should adopt it for ourselves and our congregations. An example of a real interfaith moment. This month's Soul Matters theme for worship is Living with Intention, an appropriate theme for a new year. And flexibility is a form of intention, allowing one's body, mind, and spirit to stay grounded and centered while also allowing them to bend and flow, to move with fluidity and grace, as we might learn in yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong or dance. Living with intention involves practice, discipline, or at the very least, learning to take a breath before taking the next step, learning to respond rather than react. I have to come up with my sermon title before I've actually written the sermon itself, so the title doesn't always match what I wanted to say. And I realized that the original title of this sermon, Dancing with COVID, sounds frivolous. While for many of us, COVID is or will be an inconvenient illness of a few days, it has cost hundreds of thousands of lives in this country and millions around the world. It has left many, many people facing long recoveries. It has put our doctors and our nurses and our other healthcare workers, our frontline workers, our grocery store and pharmacy and hospitality and delivery workers, our teachers and our students and their families under tremendous stress and strain. So I don't want to make light of COVID itself and say we should dance with this virus. I do think, though, that we'll be less anxious, discouraged, and overwhelmed if we can learn to move with intention and flexibility within the realities of the pandemic. To recognize, as expressed in the Tao, that the difficult and the easy support each other. High and low depend on each other. Before and after follow each other. That learning to let things come as they arise and let them go as they disappear can help us through the roller coaster of this pandemic. I think that's why the image of dancing resonates with me. The stepping in and the stepping back, moving with the current rhythm, changing our pace when things shift, causing us to speed up or slow down. It's not that we're dancing with the virus itself, but we're dancing with one another. We are each other's partners in this, or more accurately, we are each other's entire dance company in this. And in many ways, our health and well-being depend on us learning to complement each other's moves and steps. We need to be attentive so we don't let ourselves, so that while we might step on each other's toes from time to time, we don't do ourselves or each other deep bodily or spiritual harm. Getting through this pandemic is not a solo adventure. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of one another. We have to take care of our neighbors. We have to be open all the time to learning to adapt when things shift again, because they will. So the image of dance helps me recognize that the moment we are in is not static. This is not forever. It's a movement. It will change. If I try to resist the moment we are in now, I get really anxious. My body gets rigid, my mind races. But if I bend into this moment, if I move with it, I'm less rigid and less anxious about having to go through this difficult time of high numbers and being remote and not seeing you again. I recognize that this is not the same as March 2020. We are not totally shut down. We have more knowledge, we have more resources than we did. This time last year, we didn't even have the vaccine yet. And we know the dance. We know how to allow this surge to move through as it will, and to do our best to keep ourselves and one another as healthy and safe as possible by stepping back, moving more slowly, taking care how we go. Even this past Christmas Eve, when we could not gather in the sanctuary again, we found ways around it that made it better than last year. We had our outdoor caroling and candlelighting. It was short, it being a bit chilly, but it had its own delight, its own beauty, and it was fun to see each other in person and to try to guess who we each were behind our masks, kind of like Halloween. And while it was just me and Steve and Neil in the sanctuary on Christmas Eve, it did not feel as empty and lonely as it did the year before. Part of that was because I did get to see some of you beforehand. Part of it was having Steve, my co-worship leader in the sanctuary, with me, and being able to have that spiritual synergy that arises of being able to lead worship together in the same room. It has its own dance, and I realized I really missed that last year. And part of it was knowing we've done this before, and it's worked, and it will change. We know the steps, even if it's not our favorite dance. And I was deeply moved by all the texts and emails I received in the wake of the services as you reached out to let me know you were there. As we look into living into another year with the realities of COVID, we can try to stay flexible, to hold the ebbs and surges lightly, gracefully, with equanimity, not get too high when things ease up, nor too down when the next variant appears and the cases soar. Instead, to step in with joy when we can, and to be as careful and gentle as possible when we have to step back, to be mindful and attentive to our own well-being and the well-being of one another and our neighbors all around our country, all around the globe. To remember that the moment we are in is not the whole story, nor the way it will always be. We're in this dance together. Always there is a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. Forever the old passes away and newness emerges from the richness that was. Nothing is ever lost in the many changes time brings. What was in some way will be, though changed in form. Always there is a beginning, a new day, a new month, a new season, a new year. I'd like to invite us now to shift into our time of joys and sorrows, to open our minds and our hearts and our spirits to our source of being, our source of life, whether we find that within, among, or beyond us. And as we make space to hold joys and sorrows, I offer these. Hold in our thoughts and prayers today the people of Colorado affected by the wildfires there, and also our earth, which is telling us in 100 ways we need to be more intentional in our care. I ask that we hold our healthcare workers, our frontline workers, grocery stores, pharmacies, delivery services, hospitality industry, teachers and students and their families. In our hearts, as everyone prepares to return to school, and as we weather this latest surge. And I offer deepest gratitude to the researchers and the public health officials and everyone who's trying to stay on top of this. Kathy Guerra asks us to hold her husband Sean and her family in our thoughts and prayers today. Sean's mother Gloria had a sudden and fatal heart attack days before Christmas, and Sean's father has had to move into a facility. They were married for 69 years, fostered many children, including Sean, whom they had adopted. And finally, last Monday, I received a call from Dawn Shebak, Rosemary Jennings' daughter, letting me know that Rosemary was in hospice care at home. Rosemary passed away peacefully on December 29th with her family around her. She had been a member of this congregation for 52 years and volunteered, served in many capacities, and was on many committees. One of her favorite things was our holiday fair. She was also a member of our Women's Alliance. Her husband, Galen, who passed away in 2015, served in many roles in this congregation, including chairing our standing committee and stewarding the congregation through a conflict that saw a number of people leave the church. Dawn shared with me she remembered many church committee meetings that were held at Galen and Rosemary's home, and church meant a great deal. This church meant a great deal to both of them. I was able to visit Rosemary on Tuesday with her children and to say thank you on behalf of First Parish. And I'll lead a private graveside service this coming Tuesday. But I just wanted to take a moment, since there won't be a public memorial service here, to share about her and ask that we hold Rosemary, her children, Dawn, Mark, and Jason, and their families in our thoughts and prayers. I offer this meditation by Vanessa Southern from her book, A Piece of Eden. She writes, "So much undone, so much to do, so much to heal in us and the world, so much to acquire, a meal, a healthy body, a fit one, a lover, a job, a better job, proof we have and are enough, just around the corner of now. And up against it, the reality of all that falls short and the limits of today. We honor the limits. If your body won't do what it used to, for right now, let it be enough. If your mind won't stop racing or can't think of the word, let it be enough. If you are here utterly alone and in despair, be all that here with us. If today you cannot sing because your throat hurts or you don't have the heart for music, be silent. When the offering plate goes around, if you don't have the money to give or the heart to give, let it pass. The world won't stop spinning on her axis if you don't rise to all occasions today. Love won't cease flowing in your direction. Your heart won't stop beating. All hope won't be lost. You are part of the plan for this world's salvation. Of that, I have no doubt. The world needs its oceans of people striving to be good, to carry us to the shores of hope and wash fear from the beachheads and cleanse all wounds so they can heal. But oceans are big, and I am sure that there are parts of it that don't feel up to the task of the whole some days. Rest, if you must then, like the swimmer lying on her back who floats, or the hawk carried on cushions of air. Rest in pews made to hold weary lives in space carved out for the doing of nothing much, but being. Perhaps then you will feel in your bones, in your weary heart, the aching, healing sense that this is enough. Even this, that we are enough. You are enough. Enough. For these and all the meditations of our hearts, unspoken in this hour, I say, Amen. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart, O stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, give life the shape of justice, root Holy Ghost, wings set me free, Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Thank you for joining me this morning. In the gift of this new day, in the gift of this present moment, in the gift of time and eternity intertwined, let us be grateful. Let us be attentive. Let us be open to what has never happened before. In the gift of this new day, in the gift of the present moment, in the gift of time and eternity intertwined. Stay safe, folks. Amen.